Please stay with us, and we'll get back with you once we finish with NPR.
Yes, please. We'll be right back.
This is the Sunday Forum, WMNF Tampa.
Your news, your views, your values. This is WMNF Tampa 88.5
from
FM.
NPR News in Washington, I'm Giles Snyder. Palm Springs Police Chief Andrew Mills says terrorism came knocking at the door of his city, but after yesterday's explosion at a fertility clinic, he sought to reassure the community.
I also want to make sure that our community understands this is an isolated incident. I am confident that the community is not at risk any longer.
Police say one person was killed in a blast that's been reported as a car explosion, and it was heard across the city and caused widespread damage. Officials are not revealing the name of the suspect, but they say they are no longer searching for one. The governor of Kentucky is confirming at least 18 fatalities and dozens of injuries, some critical, following severe storms that cut through the state Friday night. Karen Czar with member station WUKY reports from London, one of the hardest hit Kentucky cities.
Governor Andy Beshear surveyed damage from the air, then on the ground. Beshear said right now all efforts are on search and rescue, and he has one fear in mind.
I worry there might be a whole block out there where everybody's dead. And I hope that's not the case, but you see 5 houses in a row. They're just gone.
Beshear has put in a request for an official federal disaster declaration, and several members of the Kentucky General Assembly have promised state funding would be made available for recovery. For NPR News, I'm Karen Czar in London.
To Maryland now, where the nation's only sitting black governor has vetoed a bill to create a commission to study reparations in Maryland. NPR's Amy Held reports a panel would have defined economic harms to descendants of enslaved people and recommend possible remedies.
In his veto letter, Governor Wes Moore writes, now is not the time for another study. Instead, he writes, it's time for action, including policies he will introduce to address barriers to black families' access to work and wealth. Maryland's Black Caucus issued their own statement expressing disappointment, noting the measure passed with a veto-proof majority and, quote, the legislature will have the final say. A Pew study from 2022 finds 3/4 of black Americans think descendants of people enslaved in the U.S. should be repaid in some way. A majority of all U.S. adults oppose reparations. California is among several states and cities moving forward on reparations plans. Amy Held, NPR News.
Health officials in Gaza say at least 300 Palestinians have been killed over the past few days. Israel pressing a new military offensive in Gaza as negotiators for Israel and Hamas held a fresh round of indirect talks in Doha yesterday. No breakthrough has been reported, but the BBC is reporting that Hamas is offering to release 9 hostages in exchange for a 60-day ceasefire deal, the release of Palestinians held by Israel, and humanitarian aid. This is NPR. National Transportation Safety Board expected to launch an investigation after a tall masted ship struck the Brooklyn Bridge last night. 2 people were killed. At least 19 others were injured. Bridget Bergen of member station WNYC reports on what happened.
The boat hit the bridge shortly before 8:30 p.m., according to police. All lanes on the bridge were briefly closed to traffic, and the Coast Guard says commercial activity in the area has been suspended. Videos posted on social media show the boat's masts striking the bridge and toppling over. The ship then nearly careens into the waterfront at Brooklyn Bridge Park. Officials say the ship, which had 277 crew members, is a Mexican Navy vessel that arrived in New York last week as part of a training cruise. The Coast Guard said all personnel had been accounted for. For NPR News, I'm Bridget Bergen in New York.
Preliminary reports say the pilot of the ship had lost power due to a mechanical issue, but the exact cause remains unclear. At the Vatican, tens of thousands gathered in St. Peter's Square to see Pope Leo XIV formally installed as the leader of the Catholic Church.
Distinte autorità, membri del corpo diplomatico.
Pope Leo celebrating his inaugural Mass, marking the official start of his papacy. He received two signs of his pontificate, a vestment known as a pallium and the Fisherman's Ring. Vice President J.D. Vance led the U.S. delegation. He was one of the last foreign officials to see Pope Francis before he died. This is NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Jarl and Pamela Mohn, focusing on civil liberties, foster youth, public radio, and the arts. And the Public Welfare Foundation, committed to advancing transformative youth and criminal justice reforms.
WMNF Tampa and WMNF HD1, building a better world, one important news story and great song at a time.
Now you don't have to wait till 9 a.m. to hear Democracy Now! You can hear it every morning at 8 a.m. on our HD3 channel, The Source. You can hear it on your HD radio in your car or hear it online at WMNF.org/listen. That's Democracy Now! Weekday mornings at 8 a.m. on WMNF's The Source and 9 a.m. on our main channel. And it's replayed on The Source at 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon.
The following is a statement from the Nathan B. Stubblefield Foundation Board of Directors. Most of our national institutions are being dismantled, including public media. We stand firm in our mission to provide a platform where beautifully diverse voices come together for a more just, peaceful, and sustainable world. We remain a haven for the community through our programming, music events, and outreach. We thank you for your continued support of public media like this community-supported radio station. More information can be found at WMNF.org.
Right now, you're tuned to the Sunday Forum with Miss Annie and Walter L. Smith II. And yours truly, Patrick Mobility, taking your telephone calls 813-239-9663. Or you can write us, DJ at WNF.org. Miss Annie, Walter, welcome back.
All right. So, Walter, I see we got some callers on the air. I know you wanted to finish what you were stating, and we'll go ahead and take the calls. Are you there, Walter?
I'm here. We got, how many calls do we have? We got a bunch of them, huh?
Yeah, we got two calls on the air now. Hold on, we're going to take one of the calls.
Okay, let's do it.
Good morning, caller. You on the air?
Good morning, peace and power.
Good morning, Sister Connie. Yes.
How you doing? I want to say, first of all, we're at the eve of the 100th year celebration of our dear brother Malcolm X.
Yes.
May 19th, 1925. So the question for me is always, what do I think Malcolm would say in this moment? And it cannot be the past rhetoric that we've done for the last 60-plus years.
Come on.
Where we have attempted to be the best peaceful negotiators. We have attempted to get at the table. We have attempted to jump higher, dance stronger, speak more clear, articulate anything that would make them comfortable. And it is not enough for them. It is not enough for them. So in the spirit of Malcolm, we have to do something different. Our young people that go to these historical black universities that nobody wanted, it was through the help of visionary Africans built by formerly enslaved people that we even have them. So the thing that I think we have at our most advantage is, of course, disruption, protest, and our economic strength, which is our dollars. And when we hold back our dollars, maybe not from the universities, but from all of these silent people that say they're with us in spirit, but they're nowhere to show up when we are really in battle.
Come on.
We have to figure out how we hold our dollars back. That's our beginning point. Financially siphoning this state from black dollars buying only the things that we feel is necessary, and speaking boldly to that university through our strongest advocates that these are our demands, that we're not going to peacefully watch our university being dismantled because it's a black face at the helm. All right. Thank you. Peace and power.
Thank you, Sister Connie.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely agree with that as well.
I don't anticipate this being very, I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but I can tell you right now, I don't think that this is going to be a very peaceful presidency.
I agree with you. I want to make some comments after we finish with this next caller in regards to what Sister Connie said, because even he said some of the same information that she just stated as well. So I want to touch base on that after this caller. Good morning, caller. You on the air?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good.
How are you?
Good. All right. Fine. There's two ways to look at it. I remember, like I said, I think I talked about this last week about articulated that, have you ever heard of a group called the MM? You know, have you ever heard of a guy named Bacillus Buzz Winthrop? You know, or a group that our proposal that was put before you that all Negroes shall be prohibited from voting, holding public offices, practicing law, medicine, and teaching any classes above the grade of grammar, and they had to tax shall be 100% to exceed $10,000 per family. In order to give this the most sympathy as possible, all Negroes shall comprehend their proper value and place in society. You never heard of that one? Well, one needs to look and read the book, St. Clair Lewis's book, It Can't Happen Here. And one of the things he wrote in the statements, I always remember this way, he says, and all men are kings when they have something to look down upon. About a candidate named Buzz Winthrop, who ran for office and implemented fascism in this country. This is a 1935 book and stuff. And what St. Clair Lewis does is capture the mindset of what really happens in this country. And the protagonists in here is a group of guys that remind you similar of the Trump crowd, that are almost identical to this. And the antagonist is a guy named Doremus Jessup, or a guy that reminds you similar of a guy named Walter, I think his name is Walter Smith, and his crowd at WMNM. The people who came in and said something about it, and yet they were punished and silenced and stuff. Which brings me, you know, when you look at the passages in here, the statement from, I'm writing in a part about chapter 22 when he talks about, and the same character of fleeing to Canada and to Greenland, and you see why Trump is so interested in taking over Greenland and Canada. That one of the antagonist characters who ran for president in Trowbridge, he fled to Canada to expose the injustice that was happening in here. And the thing that I say to this is that when I made a statement that says, anytime you have some progress and stuff and make a position, here the other side comes with its favorite filter Negro, armed and dangerous. Yep. And that's what we have here. But there's something else, too, that we should be talking about. This is exactly what happens, okay? So we can complain all we want and fuss all we want and we need to protest and all this stuff, but this is exactly when it happens, when you don't sit up and you don't vote. And when folks sat at home and said, well, you know, man, my vote don't count and stuff, 32,000. There's a difference between them and Andrew Gillum. When they don't sit up, and then you have to fight them to vote after folks for years and centuries. You know, it's not that fought to get this vote, or centuries, they fought to get people to go out and vote, and you don't show up. And then when something like this happens, when the Asian provocateur shows up with his favorite filter Negro, and then what happens is that somehow this filtered person becomes, this is the person you want, this is the right. Everybody Also, it's the same thing happened in the book. It can't happen here. All of a sudden, I mean, there were whites. All of a sudden, the guy who is the most incompetent, the most disabling, all of a sudden, in this case, the guy named Chad Ledoux and other people, the most disabling, the most ignorant, came a part of a group called the MM. Well, who is the MM? The MM reminds you exactly of ICE or the DEA and those sort of things. Read what's happening, and then we will understand. We should have understood that. But here again is the price that we pay in this country overall for not wanting to vote for a woman. When we had a more than competent, more than qualified white woman that was running for president. Oh, no. She had her computers going. And then when we had a more than competent, more than qualified, two women, Nikki Haley, going through it, but a woman of color in there coming in. No, the color of her eggs were too high, And so this is the price. And so when you sit down and argue, when folks want to sit down, well, we need to do this and that, think about it. What you needed to do was get up. And you had two weeks before that to go up and vote, and get up and vote. And fighting folks. Walter, you know this one. Fighting for folks calling in there. Oh man, I don't vote. I ain't gonna vote. And then they're gonna call in and complain that the man is cutting their Medicaid and their Medicare and then their Social Security, and then vote against your own interests. And Florida is nothing but a Social Security Medicare state. So what do you want to do about it? Get a nation international thing and boycott the whole state of Florida. What you do, don't buy their oranges like Canada does. African countries, don't buy anything that is related to it. That's one way you can send a message. And the other thing, we got to fight, and show up every day, and vote. And this, when you hear somebody saying they don't want to vote, then they need to hit them upside their head. Oh, by the way, I'm going to talk about point 12 in his, what they call it, you ever heard a thing called the Lost League of Men? That's what we call this thing.
Yeah, these were some of the ones that we discussed last week, so I agree with the information you're giving, Norm.
Well, listen to this last one. All women now shall, and rapidly as possible, accept such peculiar feminine spheres of activities as nursing and beauty parlors, be assisted to return to the incomparable sacred duties as homemakers and as the mothers of strong, honorable future citizens of the Commonwealth. This is told you about this in 1935. St. Clair Lewis, this stuff. And vote. This is the price we have to pay. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Walter, you back?
I'm back.
Okay. But he's correct, because we discussed some of that last week, and I did read some of St. Clair's book on It Can't Happen Here. So he's absolutely correct. The correlation is sometimes scary if you really read it and see what's happening now on what he wrote back in 1935. It's like, wow, this is truly taking place right now.
That's right.
So I definitely agree with what he said. I wanted to make note with that last caller before Norm, and I forgot what it was, because he stated something. Now it skipped my mind. I can't think of it. So go ahead, Walter. It'll come back to me.
All right. Plans.
And that elections have consequences. And I think that, maybe the other caller was alluding to whether or not a black governor would have done this kind of an appointment. No. Not unless that black governor was also a MAGA.
That's what I'm saying.
Plant.
Yes.
So, which is very possible, because that's who have been getting all of the big ups from the Republican side, is these black voices even at a time when they have been very anti-diversity and anti-equality, anti-black, basically anti-black history, and yet you have these black voices that bankroll all of this. Those are the ones that are going to get all of the appointment, all of the play under these. And what they do, they get you to try to hate the most progressive black voices and embrace the most regressive, backward elements, especially black elements in this country. And so we've seen that in the state legislature. And so this lady, I mean, Andrew Gillum, they went all out of their way to make you hate him. And yet they had no case against him. And so, this is the game they've been playing in this state while, you embrace some of the most backward elements in this state.
Very true. Okay, so I remember what it was, Sister Connie, when she made that statement. So going back to what's happening now, along what's happening in Africa, even Traore, if I'm saying his name correctly, he made the same statement Sister Connie stated. He said, stop behaving, and he said this at the Russian-African Summit in 2023, stop behaving like puppets and dance every time the imperialists pull the strings. And I agree with what she was saying. If Malcolm was alive right now, he'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Okay, what the hell are y'all doing?
But I mean, I appreciate these African leaders, especially Traore, but at the same time, he needs to be careful too and not allow Russian imperialism, which I think is in his ear right now. And so, we have to be watchful of that form of imperialism as well, especially since Russia and Putin is a statist who has killed people who disagree with him, killed people in the press, and now he's over with mercenaries, private mercenaries. And a lot of the time, this is what brings these sides politically together, is that this idea of privatizing everything means that they can hide their corrupt hands. And we're seeing corruption in the wide open right now in this country, and we're just as we've seen it in Russia and their influence around the world.
Now, Mobili, I'm glad you made that statement, because that's the part that's amazing to me. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Okay? The racism, the straight out, disrespect, disregards, it's not being hidden anymore. It's no longer like a secret or a whisper. They're doing it out in the open and daring you. And basically, it's coming from 47, daring you. Again, part of that conversation was with our mutual friend, okay? He made the statement that, no, 47 is not acting like, he's a king, this and that. He's following protocol. No, sir, he's not. He's arbitrarily saying he can change the names of countries and do all these things that he does not have to go through the normal process. And our mutual friend totally just disagrees with that. Like, no, he's doing everything correctly. And that is incorrect, sir, if you're listening. Okay, now being nice when not saying your name. If you're listening, we do have 3 branches of government. Indeed, we do. And there's a process that the president, even though he's the president, is supposed to follow. This man is taking a pen and just writing all these executive orders and not paying attention or following due process at all. But yet we're now arresting judges because they're going against what he's saying, because they know what he's saying and doing is illegal.
And mayors.
And mayors, exactly. It's illegal. And we're not paying attention to any of this. And it just blows my mind that there's still individuals out there that think that this is okay. But Mobili, again, they're not hiding it anymore. No. It's like, F it. It's like, so and what?
Back to the calls.
Back to the calls.
813-239-9663.
Good morning, caller. You on the air?
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, caller. You on the air?
I guess they decided not to talk.
Okay. Don't be scared now.
All right. Don't be scared now. So that's just where we are. But again, we have to make a decision, like Sister Connie said, like Michael said, we have to make a decision and do for ourselves, But don't ignore the fact. Don't ignore the fact that, yes, there is a process. And I still say we need to go back to the marching. I still say we need to go back to the sit-ins, because that's the only way we were being recognized. We got to bring the media attention back to what's really going on. The good thing about this FAMU issue, Walter, is that there are people that's coming out stating that they disagree with it. It's not something that's just being done and there's no response to it. So it's publicly out there that everyone knows this individual was not qualified enough to have this position. Everyone knows this individual is politically, affiliated with DeSantis, which is why she was probably pushing at the last minute. And I did realize the ones that you guys said were the other candidates, they were actually one of them was on the board of directors. Is that Jamal Brown? Is that correct? He was part of the board of directors that he should have been elected in, because he's already been there. He's in there. He's dealing with them now. So how it was passed, again, I don't know.
He doesn't fit into MAGA's agenda, that's who's in control right now.
That's it.
That part.
That's it. Unbelievable. I just don't. Anyway, it brings me back to the time when I was at FAMU in the 90s. our generation had a young man by the name of, he won't name this right now.
Name.
And
okay,
but those who were there know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. Okay, he was when I say revolutionary, I'm talking about real revolutionary, and caused a real stir when things were going on. I'll say his name. There was Larry Tate. If you're listening, Larry, man, shout out to you, brother. He made people think, moved people to action with a little booklet that he created with just copy paper. That's it. Called Thoughts Magazine. Thoughts Magazine. It was a compilation of different concepts and ideas about what was going on FAMU's campus during the time of the 1990s. And throughout the 90s, this was going on, and literally it just kept going. And we had sit-ins, we had protests. It was the first time that you really saw since the 60s and 70s that you saw students at FAMU protesting on some major issues and go head-to-head with the president of the university on what they thought were bad decisions and bad policies. And they called it. When they saw it, they called it, right? And I think that what we're going to see is that. This is not going to be, I'm telling you, I don't anticipate this being
an easy transition for her.
It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very tumultuous, and she's going to rule the day that she stepped up on the highest of 7 hills.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I want to go back because, like Sister Connie said, Malcolm X's birthday is tomorrow. So I want to go back to some of his most powerful statements that he made. Okay, because we all know most of the things that he's done and he's known for is speaking about freedom, justice, equality, self-defense, and the importance of education. So these are some of the ones that he said that was most powerful: the ballot or the bullet. This is a key phrase from his speech highlighting the need for political action and self-defense against oppression. The other one we all know, by any means necessary. I have that shirt and still wear it to today. Okay? By any means necessary. That phrase is though controversial, it reflects the belief in taking action to achieve freedom and justice, even if it means challenging authorities. And I love thinking of Jasmine Crockett because I love what she does. She does it all the time because she does, as she stated, speak truth to power. The third one, without education, you are not going anywhere in this world. This emphasizes the importance of knowledge and preparation for the future. That's why education is so important, guys. I mean, research, all of that. Even though you're hearing this information from us at the Sunday Forum that you may not hear anyplace else, still do more research about it. Take the things that we're saying to you and look it up. You know, the book about the Sinclair, look it up. Again, I always tell Walter, he's a historian, so I learn things from him all the time. But I don't just take his word for it. I do my own research so I can have an understanding. So I can have an understanding of it. The next one.
Well, I think that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got four more. The next one is truth is on the side of the oppressed. That statement underscores his belief in the inherent rightness of the oppressed and his commitment to their cause, which he was always for what was truthful and rightful for us, black people. A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. We say that in New York all the time. I grew up on hearing that. This quote encourages individuals to take a stand on issues they believe in and not be swayed by external pressures. That's why I say we need to go back to those sit-ins. We need to go back to those marches. They were very important. 3 more. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Do you not hear that? The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. This is why we need to get our younger generation to understand the importance of them understanding voting, getting involved in community issues. And this, as us, is a legacy that we need to move forward with by teaching our children, our grandchildren, the importance of them being involved and just getting off the computers and getting off their iPhones.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have no critics, you'll likely have no success. That quote encouraged individuals to embrace constructive criticism as a path to growth and achievement. I think that's for all of us. And the last one, you can't have capitalism without racism. Come on.
One of my favorite quotes.
Okay? You can't have capitalism without racism. This statement, while controversial, argues that capitalism relies on the oppression of the certain groups to maintain its system. Come on. What else need to be said?
And probably tomorrow, if you listen in, we'll probably play the whole speech of the Ballad of the Bullet, because I think that's an important point that needs to be made every so generation, because they know that the ballot is like a bullet.
That's right.
And which is why they try so hard to keep us from the ballot, keep us from the vote. And when we talk about political prisoners, one needs to look no further than when this governor, DeSantis, sent the police to people's front door who tried to vote, because they, if they were ex-cons, even though we had an amendment in this state that says if you've done your time, you can vote. And yet this governor decided to throw in, not until you pay your fines, and if you haven't, then we're going to come and arrest you if you try to vote. Yep. And so that's intimidation. That's total and political intimidation, because they understand that the ballot is like a bullet and will keep people like DeSantis with his agenda, his MAGA agenda, out of power, and made it impossible for that kind of mind control lying that they did on Gillum, for instance, win the day, just as they did with Clinton and as they tried with Kamala Harris. So this has been, I mean, if we look at how they've run their campaigns, the Republicans will put out certain words for their candidates to use against Democrats, like pedophile or communist or something like that, just to keep people's brain from being really in tune to the politics of the day.
Distraction.
It's a distraction. And so, you know, they understand that the ballot is like a bullet and will go through any lengths to keep it away from us.
We got a call on the air, so let's see what we got. Good morning, caller. You on the air?
Hi, good morning. It's Simon from Lakeland. How are you?
Good morning, Simon.
Good. I just wanted to say, as a person from the outside looking in, I do want to applaud the gentleman who interjects the thought, some logical reasoning of the what-if question. And so I truly think that someone like that would be someone that could contribute greatly to your program and actually should be part as a host to give a different perspective.
And you're a divider, aren't you? You're a huge divider, aren't you? We don't need no more hosts up in here, actually, believe it or not. And that wasn't really an interjection, but go ahead.
Your perspective is that one has to follow, with all due respect, the totalitarian view. In other words, the individual that just got elected or selected should have a certain view of, yes, Malcolm X, yes, Marcus Garvey, yes, Angela Davis, partly Martin Luther King. So those are totalitarian views.
Simon, they're going for HBCU. Those are black colleges, right? So, yes, it should be someone that is on the right side of that. It should be someone that understands the importance of contributing to that, not taking away from it. Okay, so we're not disagreeing what he said as a whole of someone being there having a different view. Okay, but the view should not go against the overall goal, and that is to promote black universities. That's what that statement was about, sir. Okay, so don't try to divide it and make it to something else that it is not.
I'm not trying to divide, and I hope you allow me to speak like I allow you to speak, is that I will give you an example. The Washington, D.C. Holocaust Memorial Museum is headed by a non-Jew. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And many museums that deal with Holocaust museums across the country in the United States and across the world.
And Simon, are there views on promoting the benefits of Jews and remember and holding on to the Jewish history? Are there views of that, even though they're not Jewish? They do have those views, and that's their overall goal, correct?
They are trying to promote.
Okay, then. So then the statement that I just made, you just validated, sir.
You didn't let me finish. You never let me finish.
Continue, Simon.
Okay. They are trying to promote a diversity there. With regard to fascism, because I know I'll be hung up soon, actually, if you look up Lawrence Dennis, who was a black man in 1936, who was the leader and prominent voice in the United States for fascism. Was a black man in 1936. He wrote a book called The Coming of Fascism. With regard to FMU, and this will be my last statement, it's intriguing to me, and Walter can comment on this, when I just looked up sister cities with FMU, university, sister cities in the world. They're located in Italy. They're located in Spain, the sister cities with FAMU. They do have exchange programs with African countries, but sister cities, not in Africa?
Now, you know, that's all just gimmickry anyways. So,
Oh, that's gimmickry. That's gimmickry. That's how you answer that.
Well, I don't know. I'm really not sure what your point is, but go ahead, Walter.
I'm not. Yeah. Go ahead. Tell me what. So, what's your point in saying that and pointing that out?
Walter, he wanted your response. He's not on the air anymore, but he wanted your response.
Okay,
Go for it.
So what? We can't travel to Spain. So we can't go to France. Is that what we're trying to say? I'm not understanding what that question was about with regard to sister cities. You know, it is what it is. I mean, okay, so what? There was no significant point made with regard to bringing up sister cities and comparing that to say none in Africa. What are you? I don't understand.
I wasn't sure either. It sounded like he was trying to say that
probably has not been set up yet in Africa. If that's what you're saying,
maybe he's called back.
And certainly
for the air, call back again.
That certainly was not done under this regime. Under this regime, we certainly do not expect that there will be some sort of support for us to even have that kind of connection with Africa. However, I don't know how to answer what your question is, quite honestly, because there was no.
I guess he's saying this MAGA black woman, even though she doesn't care or indifferent to the concerns of a HBCU, she could still run it. So
she has no. Okay,
that doesn't make any sense.
Let me wipe all that out right now. Wait. Let me wipe all that out right now. She has never run a university ever in her life. She does not have any educational experience at all. She was not wanted by the community, student body, or administration. Only wanted by political pundits and supporters of whatever the hell you want to call this, these minions of DeSantis. Okay, she should not even be there. She should not even be there.
I want to make this statement to our callers based on what Simon said. So let me be clear, okay? And it looks like we may have one of them back. So give me 1 second. Let me make this statement, then caller, please hold on, and we'll bring you on. Let me be clear. Here at the Sunday Forum, we value everyone's views, okay? We welcome them all right? But don't misunderstand, okay, what we stand for. We stand for what is rightfully due to Black people, African-American people, Africans, however you want to put it, okay? But we also stand for what's due for other cultures as well, but understand something. We are mistreated. We are not equalized. We are victimized. We have been victimized, and it's still going on. It's not even being done in secret anymore. So, yes, the voices are going to become more louder because it needs to be. But it does not mean we're putting aside or disregarding any other race or culture in any form or fashion. But we are going to stand firm in regards to what is right. That decision for the HBCUs is not agreed upon from the Sunday Forum. Walter's making his statement very clear. This person did not have any valid qualifications that superseded the other two candidates that should have been put there. That's just not the Sunday Forum's opinion. It's obviously voiced. is voiced outside of here. So don't get a misunderstood. Okay, let me be clear. Okay, now I'm ready for the call unless you got something else.
Given the agenda we've seen with the governor going after universities to take them over, to indoctrinate them.
Come on.
So
Come on,
we've seen that agenda play itself out, and this woman is actually part of that agenda, it seems.
Exactly.
Yeah, this guy is the dream of the people who went up against my father in the 70s and 80s, man. This guy this lady is her dream, is their dream president, and this governor is their dream representative.
She says she's not a Trojan horse, but time will tell.
Okay. All right, well, we got a caller.
You got my guy, Simple Simon, called, and you got a resurrection of the norm right here. Hey, look, all you have to do is pull up the name Lawrence Dennis, and indeed he was a guy who was behind the American fascism. Okay, but brother, when you take a look at it, it says it right here that. The crucial factor is that he was black but never declaimed. When you see a picture of this guy, Lawrence Dennis, bro, if he don't look like Donald Trump, I don't know what. He was he was black, born in Atlanta, but he passed for white. And he went to the Nuremberg trial. So, I mean, to use him as an example. But if you want to tell me something about let's go back to our good book of St. Clair Lewis's. Let's hear him talk about what he says, that there should be a law that passed that we shall restrict from the first day of office. He says, Congress shall immediately upon our inauguration initiate amendments to the Constitution, providing that the president shall have authority to institute and execute all necessary measures and conduct of the government during this critical epoch, that the Congress shall serve only the advisory capacity of the President of the United States, and that the Supreme Court shall immediately have removed from its jurisdiction the powers to negate by ruling them to be unconstitutional or by other actions, and acts only of the President, his duly appointed aides in Congress. In other words, what's happening now, that the Supreme Court doesn't matter. Brother, when you read this and you see that it's almost like foretells what's happening, word for word, action for action. And you got black folk around here talking about don't vote, and you've got an antagonist. Like the young lady here and like Walter Smith here saying, hey, these guys, you got to not only show up to vote, but you have to do your research. You have to understand what's what's around you. You can't just take things for face value. And we have people that reject this. So when Brother Simple Simon comes in and says that, this Lawrence Dennis, and he tries to hold this guy over as God and the black folk with this, whatever. And so we've seen this the same thing in South Africa. Saying we have people who who are black and supported the apartheid regime. All you do is, when we look at the research, is a new book called The Color of Fascism by General Horne, reveals how Dennis managed to live a life for an entire adult life. It was not clear that his wife knew that he was black, said Horne. A history professor at the history professor. That's Gerald Horne. You remember Gerald Horne comes on television all the time. Comes on radio all the time on the XM. What and and so this is what we talk doing your research when you can penetrate the deception.
We want, according to, let me be clear about this point. I don't think that Simon expected us to do research. You understand? Yeah. I don't think he expected, because if we see this, and when we saw this, that this man did not look like he was black at all. What is that? That's the first thing. What do you think we were going to say? That's the first thing. Second thing is, you got stupid people of every ethnic group and every race.
Wait, the fact that you start off, we got stupid people, that's made me laugh. Okay. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So people throughout history, they did very stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
This man did a stupid thing. So why, I'm sorry. What is your point?
That part.
This woman does not seem to be very bright.
It is not
so
surprising that they're indifferent to the plight.
So what? Exactly. What? So what is your point, Simon? What was your point? If you want to call back on that.
Well, we do. We got 2 more callers on the air. Let's see if Simon's one of them.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning. This is Christina in Phoenix.
Hey, Christina. I'm so happy to hear your voice.
How you doing?
I'm so happy about this topic today. I just want to say I support and agree 100% with everything you said. I taught in Broward County. I think I've mentioned this before on the show for 5 years, and I was at Boyd Anderson, had a wonderful colleague who helped me out. He was a FAMU alumni. Nathaniel Danlap, shout out to you in case you're out there in Broward listening. And a lot of his students went on to FAMU. This is a situation where we do have to be loud. The time for ambivalence,
yes,
and niceties, that ship has sailed long ago. We have to be loud, and I really hope what I think needs to happen, one of the many things that needs to happen, white students need to come from all college campuses around the state of Florida and protest with their black brothers and sisters at FAMU against
I love that,
decision.
Christina. Yes.
It has to be, everybody has to come together and fight this. So that's all I wanted to share, and I thank you so much. I hope this topic continues. I hope you guys all have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you. And not only do they need to join, man, listen, follow through.
Walter.
Follow through. Make the policies that need to be made.
I understand that when it came to Miss Mara Johnson, that vice chair of the FAMU board, Deveron Givens, insisted on adding Johnson because there's people who are saying that DeSantis, there's no indication that the governor acted to place Johnson in the position. So you're putting the blame on
that was the cover-up.
Deveron Givens. Yeah.
All that was a cover-up. That's all.
Right, they just not admitting that part right now. That's all.
But she's definitely representative of the private sector, and I think that's other than the fact that she's a MAGA disciple and works, in that end under DeSantis. Yeah, because he's trying to make the state of Florida a MAGA state. I mean, DOGE, we have the Department of Government Efficiency Florida, and she represents a lot of, cable companies. She represents Charter. She comes from Charter, the Super Telecommunications. And so there are a lot of people who want to take issue with the fact that you're saying and we're saying that she doesn't have a whole lot of educational experience. And she may not, but she certainly has a lot of private sector experience, and I'm certain was probably what pushed her over the edge over others who had educational experience.
Which director you said on the board that was recommending her? Deveron Givens?
Deveron, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another call on the air. I want to pull some information up on her. Give me one
All right. Go ahead, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, who the comrades? My name is Life, and I'm calling from Florida.
Thank you.
Good morning, Life.
Trying
to be funny, Life. It's all right. It's all good.
I don't want people knowing my exact whereabouts.
Understood.
I just want to say I really appreciate the discussion, mainly because it exposes some people's ineptitude when it comes to understanding history and the politics that unfolds, in society when people in power have these confrontations with people who do not. And, I remember, I think it was 2 programs ago, we had this black farmer on. And, he talked a lot about things that we can do for ourselves. And I'm glad that we finally, in this program today, got around to talking about the brother minister, Malcolm X, who tomorrow would have been born 100 years ago.
Amen.
I'm really glad that we finally got around to talking about him. But I think we should ask ourselves when confronted with any topic, certainly a political topic, one good question to ask ourselves, I say, is what would Malcolm do? Or maybe even what would Malcolm say? Or what would Malcolm think? But, we ought to practice getting into a Malcolm mindset. In my view, we spend a lot of time talking about what these white people do, what these white people have said, what these white people have done. And we know what they do. I think, I've heard it in this program today that, there's nothing new, et cetera. They've been doing it for a long time. So, it doesn't change. The players might change, but the game does not change. It's still the same. The colonizers, the people in power, are constantly doing whatever they need to do, everything they need to do for themselves, as they should. The thing is, though, as colonized people, we ought to be just as focused, just as single-minded and purposeful about doing for ourselves what it is we need to do, despite or in spite of what it is these colonizers do. Really, like, we can do it. We can have our own independent thought instead of this reactionary or reactive kind of responsive thing. So they do something, now we got to respond. What about what are we going to do to make these people, these colonizers, and the power they wield obsolete? I want to say a couple more things and then bounce. One thing is this. I would love to hear some responses to the questions I just posed in the way of solutions from this discussion this morning. What are we going to walk away from this program saying, okay, we've got to really, at least we're beginning to get a good grasp on the problem, and here's some solutions that we propose or some ideas that we propose to deal with this circumstances. I'm interested in hearing some solutions. Like, okay, what do we do? Marbury Johnson's bad. The machine behind her is bad. It's going to have all these bad implications. Now, what the hell do you do? Can we at least get out of here with some ideas about that? And the other thing I would say, and this is directly to Miss Annie at this point. I know the listeners who've been around since Miss Annie's been around, they might think me and Miss Annie got a thing going on. But Miss Annie, I think one thing that's important.
He don't like me.
No, I love you, and I'll tell you why I do. It's because you help make me sharper and smarter, even though I believe that you and I have similar objectives, in some cases, the same objectives. We got some different perspectives on how to get to those, to meet those goals. And those differing perspectives, as far as I'm concerned, I know for me, I speak for me, makes me sharper. It makes me, helps me understand how people other than me understand things and see the world, so that I can have these discourses in a much more meaningful manner with people who might think differently.
Indeed.
And I would say, though, I heard you, so that's why I love you in these discussions. And it's in that spirit that I would offer this as a bounce. When you said that words are important, words are powerful, and I agree. And I think I might have mentioned earlier on this program, not today, but on the show, that this idea of white supremacy is just poppycock. And we ought to stop. We ought to get our mouths right. We're not Black, Negro, African American, African, or whatever we want to call it. No, we Africans, and we ought to say it. We don't have time to beat around the bush and euphemize and even apologize for being on the program talking about Black people stuff. We ain't got to apologize for that, Miss Annie. Make concessions or validate that we ain't talking about white people. We got to say we care about your culture because we care about our culture. We ought to be unapologetically African and unapologetically about our business. And all these people no apology about talking about Black stuff. And to that point, it ain't no white supremacy. The only reason why these people have any supremacy at all, if they do, is because of the gun. It's gun supremacy, not white supremacy. I need to get out, erase that mess from our minds and our mouths and stop saying this kind of foolishness that people who are not as sophisticated politically will hear, parrot, and perhaps even internalize is true. Ain't no white supremacists. They got guns, and the power to use it to death. They have the legal power, the right to kill. They got it. They got the power of the gun. If there's anything makes them supreme, it's that, not whiteness. And we are Africans, and we should say it, we should know it, and we can talk about it the whole 120 minutes on this program. We ain't got to say nothing about them, they, and those. We can talk about us, we, and me, and have to do to get out of this morass. They keep us talking about these like Malcolm would say, these old pale things. So yeah, it's too important. This is too important of a day. 100 years since Malcolm was born, and all he did. It's too important of a day not to spend so much time talking about this old blue-eyed pale thing. I say that's my contribution, and I hope that it's meaningful to somebody who heard it. Yeah.
Well, I want you, don't hang up yet, Brother Life. It was well received what you said, and iron sharpens iron. So I learned from you as well, and I appreciate. So when I say to you he doesn't like me, guys, that was just something between him and I. I definitely 100% agree with you. I am 100% unapologetic for being African, And the reason I made that statement is because when we have callers calling here that give these illusional thoughts that we just focus only on, Africans. And the reason I say black people, because most people don't understand, I agree with you, we are Africans. We are Africans, but it's some people not understanding the clear history. I'm just black and so forth, so on and so forth. So when I make those distinctions, I say it that way for a reason, to make it inclusive, even though you may not understand where you truly come from. But when I have individuals that call in here and try to separate us or make it seem like we're not giving respect or do, consciousness of other cultures, that's why I make that statement as a whole for the Sunday Forum. Me individually, I'm definitely unapologetic for who I am, the statements that I make. I'm grounded and founded on the things that I say. So I do appreciate you calling in and stating what you state to me, but I do agree with you as well. Iron sharpens iron, and we do agree on some things and some things we disagree on, but I learn from you either way because I am a believer in learning. I don't know everything. I think anyone on the Sunday Forum knows everything. So we should all welcome being educated in any form or fashion as long as in a positive way. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree that that's how you present yourself in the Sunday Forum, that you do understand yourself as African and unapologetically. So at the same time, though, I wouldn't waste a mouthful or a minute trying to explain to these people, we care about other cultures and the rest of it. I mean, when old Judge Stanford told Dred Scott that although Africans have been born in the United States for almost 200 years, by the time Dred Scott's case came before the court, in 1857, the white man still told Dred Scott that African people have no rights, that white men are bound to respect. And I don't remember getting no apology from old Judge Stanford about how he felt about Negroes at the time. And I mean, even an apology, even when you get an apology, we got an apology from the city of Tampa and Mayor Bull Connor Jane Castor. And yeah, I said it. Jane Bull Connor Castor, he's just like Bull Connor. If you ask me, and I say it again, and people are going to try to tell me, I don't care. This is who she is. And that government gave an apology to African people. And Comrade Connie knows all about it. It's some resolution, that the city put forth, and, city council apologized, and the mayor signed it, and it ain't worth the paper it was written on. Much less. And so, these people don't apologize, and when they do, they don't mean it. And so we don't owe them any apologies. If we want to talk black, if we want to make the Sunday Forum logo black, if we want to make a black Sunday Forum flag, it's our right and our ability to do it. It's our responsibility to claim all the damn territory we can and not care how anybody who calls in thinks about it if they ain't on our side. Oh, and to that point, to the white woman, it sounds like a white woman, I could be wrong, but to the white woman who suggested that the white people show up to FAMU and stand with the Africans there. Don't just come there to stand. Come there to stand behind. Be clear that when they show up, you don't take over the agenda. You follow the African leadership. When you get there, if you're not coming to follow African leadership and show solidarity through reparations, not charity, then stay your ass home.
I appreciate all that, Life. Thank you so much. We're down to 1 minute left. But again, everything you said, I agree with, brother. And thank you so much for continuing to support the Sunday Forum as you always do. We have two callers. Unfortunately, we're not able to take your calls right now. Please call into us for next Sunday, 813-239-9663. Walter, go ahead and please close us out. We got 1 minute left, sir.
All right. Hey, that's a special love affair right there, boy.
Hey. I appreciate that, brother. I love him indeed.
I was about to jump in the middle of that one. Listen, I want to say to everybody out there, thank you for calling and joining us here on the Sunday Forum this Sunday. This is a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. Every Sunday is a beautiful Sunday this side of 6 feet. Because it gives us a chance to be better than we were before.
Yes.
I want to say the fight is never over. We want it to be, but it is never over. Prepare yourselves to be in fighting trim.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare yourselves with knowledge. And always remember that from our voice to the airways, to the hearts and the minds of all the people out there, we love you. And there's not a thing you can do about it here on the Sunday Forum. Listen.
I want to just add to that for you, Walter, real quick. Guys, remember, it's a journey. Destination still unknown.
All right, there we go. There we go. Hey, listen, coming up next, Post Martin Hootenanny, my man Ed Lehman.
Yes.
I love when Ed does that. He swing his hand.
WMNF, speaking truth to power since 1979.